Welcome back, folks. We're diving deep into that recent piece. The one titled Epstein Files Exposed Something Serious is About to Happen to Trump by Cole Douglas Macgregor. It's stirring up a lot of conversations.
Yeah, definitely. What immediately caught your attention was that bold title. I mean, something serious is about to happen. That's a heavy promise.
Absolutely. It's like the title alone just grabs your focus. The video hints that there's a whole bundle of revelations tied to Epstein's legacy and Trump's current situation. And even though the
Exactly.
description is minimal, the context is rich with speculation.
Right, and you notice that aside from the title, there's this intriguing mix of auto-dubbed audio and a crux of controversial messaging that seems to signal a deeper political agenda, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. It's like the production is set up to pull you in immediately. With over 278K views, it's clear people are curious. The visuals, the play counts, even the way it's a part of this cascade of related videos, from topics like Cole Doug McGregor on Putin to others on political conspiracies, the narrative is all about
Right.
stirring up the political pot.
I've definitely seen that cross-referencing between related videos too. It's almost like they're building a network of ideas, each feeding into the next big story. Can you talk a bit more about what the video itself claims, without getting too lost in sensationalism?
Well, the video really centers on exposing what it calls Epstein files. That's a loaded term. It suggests there's hidden evidence or information that's been kept under wraps. The claim is that these revelations could trigger some kind of dramatic fallout involving Trump. It's
I
like
get
they're
that.
mixing old scandals with current political tensions.
And that makes for a potent cocktail, doesn't it? I mean, blending Epstein's notorious history with Trump's political persona, it just raises a lot of questions about motives and possible implications.
Exactly. It's like the way these narratives interconnect is meant to create a sense of urgency. You have a figure like Coel, Douglas McGregor, whose name itself carries weight, and he's using this platform to, signal that a critical turning point might be on the horizon for Trump.
Yep, that's a bold angle. Now, while that's certainly attention grabbing, do you think there's a risk of mixing genuine investigative insights with a bit of overly dramatic speculation?
That's a really good point. I mean, it's definitely walking a fine line. On one hand, you have these files that imply significant revelations. On the other, the presentation leans heavily on the drama factor. It's almost like they're using sensational headlines to maximize viewership rather than presenting a
I
balanced
see what you're
expose.
saying. So there's a bit of performative aspect to it, almost like it's meant to rouse public sentiment as much as it is to inform.
Exactly, that's it. The whole setup feels like a rallying cry for a particular audience. You hear echoes of past political controversies where the blend of exposed files and high stakes drama ramps up the excitement and tension among viewers.
Yeah, it really stokes the fire. And interestingly, even the production details, like the auto-dubbed audio tracks, give it that extra layer of modern digital culture, signaling that this is spread through new media channels rather than traditional journalism.
Right. It's like you have this fusion of high impact political storytelling and the immediacy of digital distribution. The video's spread seems to leverage that instantaneous nature, 278K views, tens of thousands of likes, to validate the urgency of its message.
That's spot on. But here's a question. How do we navigate between genuine calls for accountability and the risk of fueling unverified speculation? Isn't there a danger in letting this kind of rhetoric go unchecked?
That's a key challenge indeed. While it's important to hold power to account, there's also a responsibility to scrutinize the evidence behind such claims. The video, while provocative, offers very little in the way of verifiable detail within its description or transcript. It's like setting up a dramatic stage without clearly lighting all the
Yeah, I
props.
totally get that. Exactly. And with topics like these, the difference between a call to uncover hidden truths and outright fueling hype can be razor thin. I suppose that's why discerning viewers are critical of such sources.
For sure. And it's interesting how platforms like YouTube become arenas for these narratives. Looking at the view counts and the network of related content, you can tell this is part of a larger movement where controversial historical snippets, say Epstein's dealings, are recontextualized to comment on present day politics.
Right? It's like a historical remix. I like that analogy, a remix of history, really. There's this element of both discovery and deliberate reinterpretation. And speaking of reinterpretation, what's your take on the implications if such revelations were true? Would they genuinely reshape perceptions of Trump?
It's a profound question. If those files disclose new evidence that fundamentally change the narrative around Trump, then yes, it could lead to major shifts in public opinion and possibly legal repercussions. But we have to be cautious. The way this content is packaged suggests an impending crisis without necessarily substantiating it beyond
That
dramatic
makes sense.
presentation.
True, and it's that caution that we must remain aware of. Because when you mix high-profile personalities with explosive allegations, the narrative can quickly turn polarizing.
Exactly. And while headlines like these grab attention, it's like they're engineered to provoke an immediate reaction. They often demand a deeper investigation to separate fact from theatrical embellishment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why discussions like ours are critical. We can appreciate the energy and urgency, but also remind listeners to seek corroborated information from multiple sources.
Right. It's all about context. For instance, while Cowell, Douglas Macgregor's credentials lend some weight to his assertions, any serious claim about imminent events involving Trump needs to be rigorously evaluated.
Exactly. You know, it reminds me a bit of past controversies where sensational revelations ended up being more about stirring public sentiment than delivering fully documented findings. How do you think this stands in comparison?
It does share similarities. There's that familiar pattern, dramatic titles, encrypted insinuations of hidden documentation, and then a broader framework that ties in related controversies. But I'd argue that every era has its own flavor of this rhetoric. Today's digital age amplifies these narratives much faster and wider than ever
Absolutely,
before.
yeah. And that amplification is a double-edged sword. It democratizes information in one sense, but also makes it easy for disinformation or unverified speculation to spread uncontrollably.
Exactly. It's like in a digital echo chamber. News gets repeated, reinterpreted, and sometimes distorted. This video, with its sparse description and loaded title, seems designed to thrive in that environment.
True that. Now, from a broader perspective, do you see any indication that the narrative here is connected to wider geopolitical or domestic political trends?
I do. The content, while singularly focused on Trump's potential downfall tied to Epstein's legacy, also taps into a broader zeitgeist of political distrust and the quest for accountability. It resonates with a lot of current undercurrents about governmental transparency, or the lack thereof, and the shifting alliances in politics.
Right, I see your point. It definitely adds a layer of complexity. On one hand, it pleases audiences looking to see the powerful held accountable. On the other, it risks oversimplifying complex issues into binary outcomes of hero versus villain.
Absolutely. And that's where I respectfully have a slight challenge to that narrative. While accountability is essential, reducing multifaceted political dynamics to a simple, serious event can sometimes hinder deeper understanding. It's like we need to encourage a more nuanced discussion rather than a rush to extreme conclusions.
Very true. And that nuance is exactly what we might be missing if we only rely on these dramatic online pieces. It creates an environment where facts can get lost in the theatrics.
Right. And while dramatic content can serve as a wake-up call for some, it must be balanced with critical analysis and corroboration from established, diverse sources. It's like a call to action for viewers to dive deeper, rather than simply accepting the headline at face value.
Yep, that's the key point. So, in wrapping up, it sounds like the takeaway, beyond the sensational title, is a reminder of the complex interplay between genuine investigative journalism and the dramatization of political narratives in the digital age.
Exactly. It's a signal to stay curious, but also cautious. Always dig beneath the surface and be aware of how narrative styles can shape our perceptions, sometimes more than the actual facts themselves.
Absolutely. Well said. I think discussions like these not only help us process what we see online, but also encourage us to think critically about the sources of our information, especially when it involves such high-stakes allegations.
Right, it's like peeling an onion. Every layer reveals more, but you have to be careful not to get overwhelmed by the layers of rhetoric.
Yep, indeed. Thanks for this engaging dive into the subject. It certainly gave us a lot to chew on.
Absolutely. And remember, stay curious and keep questioning. That's all for now, folks.